Welcome to Private Club Radio, your weekly source for industry education, news and discussion. Broadcasting from Tampa, Florida, ladies and gentlemen, here is your host, Gabriel Aloisi.
Hey, welcome to Private Club Radio, episode 225. Man, we've been doing this a long time. Doing it from home these days, but it's still a lot of fun, and I'm glad that you came back here this week to be with us for a great guest, Mr. Jay Delsing, who used to be on the PGA Tour. Now he has a really cool program where he takes golfers to some of the most exclusive private clubs, and they have once-in-a-lifetime experiences together. It's something that you might want to think about taking your members on, getting them introduced to Jay, because he is one nice guy. Before I bring Jay on, I just want to make a couple of announcements for you. We will be continuing our webinar, Club Leadership International Roundtable, this week. If you would like an invite to that and you're not already on my email list where I've been sending out the Zoom invitations, make sure to shoot me an email, gabe@privateclubagency.com, and make sure to ask me to put you on the list. We've had some awesome discussions with people from all over the world joining us, club managers and membership directors coming in from all over. And it's been great to have some wonderful discussions with folks. The other thing I want to remind you is I've got a little YouTube channel called Let's Play Through, but you can help make it big. We are teetering ever so close to the 1,000 subscriber mark. And for YouTubers, that is a big milestone because, first of all, it's hard as hell to do. But number two, that's when YouTube actually allows you to make a few dollars on the platform. It's called being monetized, and that only happens at 1,000 subscribers. So I need your help. I really need your help this week. If you're not subscribed, please go to letsplaythrough.com/subscribe and just simply hit the red button. That's all you got to do is push a button. The other thing you could do, though, would be just to share that link out with some folks in your membership. You've got a club full of members sitting at home looking for something to do. I have this awesome golf travel show. It's a match made in heaven. Just share that link with them and please ask them to subscribe. That would help me immensely. I can't even tell you how good it would be to make $1 on YouTube. Consider that a charitable donation to me and my family. We would appreciate it. But seriously, if you could subscribe, it's letsplaythrough.com/subscribe. That will take you right to YouTube, where all you got to do is hit that big red button. And please do share it with your members. Without further ado, let's bring on the man himself, Mr. Jay Delsing. Here we go. Well, my guest this week is Jay Delsing. He's got a show on ESPN called Golf with Jay Delsing. He's also a former PGA Tour professional, and he's just a great all-around guy. I was introduced to him through a mutual friend, and it's been great getting to know Jay a little bit. So, Jay, welcome to Private Club Radio.
Hey, Gabe, good morning, and thanks for having me on, and thanks for all those lies, man. Don't let too many people that know me hear that stuff.
Exactly. I'd love for you just to give us a little deeper dive into your background, Jay, and how you got started in the golf business.
Yeah, thanks. Well, my dad was a professional baseball player and played in the big leagues for like 10 years back in the 40s and the 50s, and was on the 1949 Yankees World Series team. So I grew up in a sports family. I'm the fourth of 5 kids and grew up in a really modest environment in North County in St. Louis, Missouri, and I just always wanted to be a professional athlete. And baseball's the first love of my life. I still, to this day, follow the game through box scores and things like that. But I just wanted more sports than most of the normal sports, I guess you could call, would provide. And so when I was a kid, I wound up starting caddying and playing golf because I could do it by myself and I could just spend as much time as I wanted and I didn't need a team around me. And so I was fortunate enough, first aim was to try to get a scholarship. I got a scholarship out to UCLA and played on one of the best college teams of all time and then went on to the PGA Tour the next year and really learned how to play golf, on tour. I thought I was really good until I got on tour and where everybody is really good. And basically, Gabe, I've just been able to live a lifelong dream, and I'm still doing it. I'm almost 60 years old, and I've never really worked since I used to caddy. And so Golf has just been just a tremendous provider for my family, and I have 4 daughters, and I can't imagine my life without it.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I mean, it's such a great sport because it's something you can play for life and stay involved in. And obviously you're living proof of that. You've got this really cool new podcast / ESPN show that you're doing. I'd love for you to tell us about Golf with Jay Delsing.
Well, thanks. Yeah. About a year ago, last January, ESPN came to me. It's 101 ESPN. There's an app that you can get, and you can listen to the shows at jdelsinggolf.com. But they came to me, and we kind of went back and forth. And I've done these golf shows before, Gabe, and I was really only interested in it as if I could control the content, because I don't want to be a recap show. We will talk about certain things that are relevant and going on in the game right now, but I want to tell stories. I want people to get to know, like I had you on my Leading Edge segment. I want people to get to know you and how golf is providing for your family. I have a lot of ex-athletes come on this show. I've had Chris Carpenter and Taylor Twillman. I've had Faraday on there. I've had Tony La Russa. I've had Brett Hall. Just a lot of these Hall of Fame type caliber athletes that talk about how and what golf does for them and compare it to their sport, compare some of the mental challenges. I just had Ozzie Smith on last Sunday, Gabe, and he's like, how hard can this sport be? Because the ball's not moving. And now if you talk to him, he's so obsessed with the game because he can't believe how hard it is and that you never really own or master this game. I think we all just rent it for a time being, game.
I like that. My dad always used to say, if you hit good shots every time, it wouldn't be fun. And I totally agree with that. I think what makes golf amazing is that it's a new challenge every time you step up to the first tee.
Yeah, it's just so unpredictable. And there's so much. I mean, if you think about, putting a round ball into a round hole over an irregular surface, even though even the greens at Augusta look like they're perfect and they're as close to perfect as you can get, crazy stuff still happens, and it's always, I mean, I think that's part of the allure, isn't it? Because you're sitting there waiting and wondering, how's this going to play out? Because it never, ever, hardly ever seems to go per the script.
Exactly. Yeah. I always find it fascinating that touring pros like yourself, can go out there, even if you're not in a competition, you're out there practicing for 3 hours a day at a minimum. I mean, what was your routine like? And did you ever have a time in your life where you were just like, I just need a break from this?
Oh, constantly. You'd be surprised at the breaks that you need mentally because, first of all, when you're a young man, you never think your body's ever going to break down or you never, you don't deal with injuries much. And now I'm a walking, limping, breathing human being that hurts all over, from all the years of whacking the ground and the ball and things like that. But mentally, especially when you're playing well, it is exhausting. It is absolutely exhausting. And what you learn over the course of time, Gabe, is that you don't need to continually concentrate for the 5 hours that you're out there. You go in and out of these intense moments of concentration, and then you get a release. And it's a little breather. And then you look at the trees, you talk to your caddy, you talk sports, you talk, whatever. And then you get back in for the next shot, and you really, really have to have a great short-term memory.
Yeah, I think that's an understatement. It's just, you always hear, it's kind of the cliche that these guys are like, yep, just went out there and took it one shot at a time. But it sounds like that's exactly what you really need to do.
Yeah, those cliches are not exciting, and they really didn't make for crappy interviews, don't they? But it's 100% the truth, because we can make this game more complicated than anything or any sport that anyone's ever seen. I mean, I was talking on my show the other day, and we figure the golf swing takes just a fraction more than 1 second to happen, Gabe. And the things that you can jam into your brain in that 1 second period of time are just mind-boggling.
Yeah, swing thoughts are the ultimate, aren't they? What did playing on tour do for you in terms of setting you up to be an entrepreneur, and what did you learn from that time that you're using now?
Well, I mean, what makes me unique, Gabe, is I've had my brains beat in by the best golfers over, to almost, a better part of three decades. So I'm a real competitive guy. I love to compete. I love the challenge of it. But from an entrepreneurial side, I was always fascinated by the business side of golf and the business side of sport in general. And whenever I pray for anything, I never pray for something small or, subtle. I need to be hit over the head with it or run over with it. And for whatever reason, back in my rookie year in 1985, I was just fascinated by the Pro-Ams. I couldn't believe how many people from city to city that we'd go to were dying to play golf with us. And then I'd look at my constituents and they were so not into it. Yeah. They were just like, oh, this is just painful because, most of the guys none of the guys are as good as we are. But I looked at it from a completely different perspective. And I thought that, man, from a business opportunity, these guys have some money because they're willing to shell out thousands of dollars to play with a guy that doesn't want to be with them. And they must really, really love the game. And so what I started doing was I made up my own business card and my oldest sister, Kim, who was running Calvin Klein Cosmetics at the time, encouraged me to buy some really nice, and I spent way more money on a note card stationery sort of thing, Gabe, than I ever imagined I would when I was 24 years old. But what I started doing was taking business cards from all the people that I met and then dropping them a little note, with my business card and, just 3-4 little sentences about how much I enjoyed being with them. And what I did is I just basically started a network for me. And then J. Delsing Golf was kind of created where I do hospitality and entertainment for companies, individuals, charities, speaking engagements, just whatnot, from the people that I met from playing on tour and folks that loved golf and were involved in the Pro-Ams throughout the country.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So you're starting to put together now kind of once in a lifetime experiences for club members out there. I'd love for you to tell us about how that works.
Yeah, well, I really like to, I'm a one-man band, and whenever something goes wrong, I always talk to my clients and friends and say, yeah, I'll get my secretary right on that. I don't know how he or she could have screwed that up, and they'll look at me and I'm like, no, that was me. I was just trying to make it.
Nice.
But I really try to customize and personalize the experience and what the individuals are looking for. From a business standpoint, are you looking to promote your business to a couple of prospects? Are you looking to reward your current employees for jobs well done and thanks for staying with me? Are you trying to incentivize people in one way or another? And so there's a lot of different ways, Gabe, that it can be approached. But the first step is, folks will call me and I just really listen. I ask a couple kind of really broad-based questions and try to find out what they're looking to accomplish. Because one of the things that my business does, Gabe, in a crazy world where we have more opportunities and modes of communication where we don't communicate with a damn anymore. People don't go to lunch hardly anymore. People barely talk on the phone. So much is done electronically between texting and email. And what I provide is good old-fashioned FaceTime, where the cell phones are there, but they're not really needed. And we're walking fairways and talking and hanging out and getting to know one another. And there's not a better way to try to enhance a business than to spend time with either your customer or your employers or employees, whatever that looks like, by walking the fairways. Gabe, you love the game. I love the game, and you can find so much out about playing even just 9 holes with somebody.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I think I mentioned it to you before, but Dave Bisbee is a great guy who wrote a book all about how do you conduct business meetings on the golf course? How do you interview people? And the good and bad will come right out of people on a golf course. You'll find out if they're a cheater, if they're honest. if they've got integrity, if they're helpful, if they'll go find your ball when you hit a shot astray. And there's just so many lessons you can learn out on a golf course, which is awesome. How do clubs, or how do club members or some of these corporate executives get in touch with you to look into some of these trips?
Oh gosh, they can. It's JAY and then it's my name just spelled out. JDelsingGolf.com is on the web. Or they can call me at 314-378-0235. And yeah, I'd love to talk to them and love to hear what they're thinking. And I had a funny call because I deal with a lot of C-suite, mostly C-suite level executives, and I had a call recently. I think it was a furniture company where one of the events I was doing, this CEO was a guest, and he said, "I would really like you to do that for my company. Can you do that?" And I said, "Well, look at who sponsors tournaments on the PGA Tour. We basically have the who's who of business in all variety of spaces, Gabe." And so he said, "Well, I want you to talk to my COO and set this thing up." And this guy that I was talking to, Gabe, wanted nothing to do with me. He's like, "How the hell is this golfer going to help us sell furniture?" And blah, blah, blah. And I said, "Well, we sat down and we talked a little bit about it. And by the end of it, he's like, 'Oh man, this is going to be fun.'" And I said, "Well, yeah, that's what we want to do. Have fun and strengthen your relationships."
I think right now more than ever, especially with going on with this COVID-19 crisis, people are craving that connection, that human connection that we're all missing. And it sounds like what you're putting together would be really needed once we get out of all this.
Oh gosh, I like to think so, but I mean, more importantly is, everybody stay safe, everybody follow it was hard to really, for me, take this to wonder how serious or what this thing was as it just kind of moved through the world, but as we're seeing, it's a lot bigger deal than most of us have thought. And I think we're all in this together. And we talked about this earlier. I don't think in my lifetime, Gabe, we've ever seen a neater, better, bigger collaboration of the best minds in the world working together, to try to help us figure this out. And so, let's have everybody get through this and take care of their families. And then we'll go tee it up on the backside of it.
I love it. Yeah, for sure. So definitely check out jdelsinggolf.com. You'll learn all about the show, the podcast. I think obviously the podcast is such a great medium right now. We're all stuck at home. So many people are just binge watching Netflix. Get out, take a walk around your neighborhood, listen to a podcast like Jay's that you can stream while you're taking a nice jog, and make sure you follow Jay on social media as well. He's just doing a great job with the podcast and some of the other efforts out there. Jay, I really appreciate you coming on with us, and hope to have you back again here on Private Club Radio, sir.
Anytime, bud. Let's keep growing the game, and good luck to you and your family. Everybody stay healthy, and the sun will be shining on the backside of this. We'll get to play some golf and have a good time.
Well said by Jay there. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and I hope to catch you back next week on another edition of Private Club Radio. Until then, here's to your membership success.
Private Club Radio is brought to you by Concert Golf Partners, helping to preserve and enhance private golf and country clubs. Visit concertgolfpartners.com to learn more about the recapitalization process.